Take a good look at these two shapes. Which one would you name Booba, and which would you name Kiki? If you said the round shape should be Booba and the spiky shape Kiki, then you are in the majority of other consumers. Many studies like this have been conducted to highlight what is aptly named the Booba-Kiki effect. The effect makes up one of the pillars of a linguistic science that is called phonetic symbolism. Phonetic symbolism, also known as sound symbolism, as the name might suggest, is a field of linguistics that states sounds are associated with imagery.
It suggests that there's an intuitive association between the E sound in Kiki. You can spell it with an I or you can spell it with two E's. That's why I call it sound symbolism. It's not letter symbolism.
It's used by marketers to ensure that their brand name has the desired lasting impression on consumers. As it turns out, the sound of a brand matters way more than you might think. The science of phonetic symbolism was popularized in 1929 by Edward Sapir. He conducted a study in which people named small and large tables with the descriptor mal or mil. 80% of participants agreed that mal referred to the large table, mil for the small one.
Things named with the back vowel sound, the oo sound, they are dull and dark and coarse and blunt and slow and just lumber around.
Back vowels convey an item might be large, heavy, or even have negative connotations. Every word at its base is made of phonemes. Take cheddar, for instance. The word can be broken down into several sounds. Cheddar. Ch, e, d, cheddar. Phonetic symbolism is the study of how each of those sounds affects how people visualize and categorize words. Marketers use this to their advantage in everything from naming brands to individual products.
Let's take swir. Swir. On the whole, swir conveys smoothness or wide-reaching movement, swarm, swathe, sweep. So if I'm now going to invent a lawnmower or something, I might well begin with swir and call it, Swecker or Swallow or I don't know what.
Studies show that from the second a consumer hears the name of a brand or product, they begin to make judgment calls on said product. For example, a 2003 study reported that brand names starting with plosive sounds are more effective for brand recall and recognition. That means your K's as in Kellogg's, P's as in Pillsbury, and so on.
Going back to Twitter, the T and the T, which perhaps reflects typing, tick, 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 something of that kind.
The study went on to say that harder sounds are useful for indicating more durable characteristics for a product. However, this might work negatively on products that are ideally soft or light. Researchers urge marketers to choose names that make sense for their brands. For example, ooh sounds hint at the large variety a company can offer. This works in the case of Groupon being a site where you can find deals on a massive variety of items. Or, if you sell soaps, use rounded phonemes like ah sounds to denote smoothness or softness in your product. The goal with sound symbolism is to grab consumers from their initial reaction point to a product. They want products to look and sound like the names that they're given. The Journal of Consumer Research conducted a study with hypothetical ice cream brand names Frisch and Frosch. The ah sound in Frosch was hypothesized to feel bigger and heavier, translating into a richer and creamier dessert. Results of the study confirmed just this. Frosch was the preferred brand name. And even with Frosch being the preferred name, people thought that Frisch tasted like a lighter ice cream with fewer calories, despite the ice creams being exactly the same. When used in tandem with other linguistic practices, phonetic symbolism makes for a powerful naming device. Much of a consumer's decisions are done subconsciously, so using phonetic symbolism is a way to tap into this and further nab a consumer from the jump. It's also worth noting that sound symbolism goes beyond English. Scientists have found uses for sound symbolism in marketing in many languages.
Some languages, it seems, have more sound symbolic words than others and exploit them more. Japanese, for example, has far more sound symbolic expressions than English has.
If you look at any number of different languages, they all show evidence for some sort of intuitive connection between the way a word sounds and what people infer to be true about the thing that that word refers to.
The goal with a brand name is to deliver semantic meaning about what it is that's being sold. But with phonetic symbolism, marketers can deliver levels of meaning with a name combined with, say, alliteration or visuals.
That's what advertising guys do. I've been in a room and seen them work, with a big blank wall. And they're all writing on the wall and putting in all sorts of ideas and seeing the sounds travel all over the wall with the marker pens and things like that. And then suddenly something comes out of the wall and it's the best word because it conveys so much of what you're saying here.
Once you start slamming in all these other constructs, like you mentioned, alliteration or rhyme or onomatopoeia, they scaffold up. It's pleasant to hear rhymes. We hear rhymes since nursery stories when we're a kid.
It's all there, and that's what sticks in your head. And the more you can use, as it were, a nursery rhyme philosophy when you're thinking out your brand names, I think the more effective they're going to be.
Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our new videos.